Yeah, we ensure the security, but they also not one. Outlet and 100% yet we start opening the 4 gates centimeters by centimeters. So we try if the so that's that is not this issue. Try to the space for water that is coming. The representative of the authority. So they are telling people to evacuate. We have a sort of committee that is presided by the representative of the Minister of the Interior here. We have hospitation.
We have 5,000 higher demand after the
within cities around 5 and the rural areas that today coverage is so the police and they are policing the culture and the people now are policing.
That's correct.
Yeah. So
that's what it is.
Yeah, because plans we have, but then enforcement, implementation, and the enforcement of the same is where we are failing.
Should be able more than anyone to because it's their country.
Yeah, in us we have
to go. They will be released on board.
Yeah,
and they will come there tomorrow. You want to arrest them? So no, I'm out on board.
Yeah. So he's committing a crime, and he's on court. So we have.
No, it's not good at all.
Equilibrium that we should find.
Yes, yes. It's just like driving a car without brakes. Yes, it will crash. It will crash. So you go to their grandmother, you get the authority, you go to their grandfather, then after all agreed, you arrest them. Now you are those children, the equilibrium. Yeah, once you put the equilibrium, the balance liberalism.
There's not even communicated. And then you can see the higher seal is being fed by that seal.
You go to Uganda side.
Yeah. This higher seal is being fed by that seal. Napitia hapo. Then we take it as a
which is 5 minutes. And last year, same
in the dam, and we have to make a decision to give water of our utilities, important utilities.
So between
What is the population of Morocco?
we're talking 30 millions, 35 millions
35. What is the population of Morocco?
for agriculture and hydropower production, and 17 for water supply. That gives us 85, which is the regulated volume for the complex.
Okay, for the 2 dams.
Yeah. So just as of today, for let's say it was
Sijaenda kutoka nilipokuja. Nimekuja hapa kwa
goes down, it goes up. Goes down, it goes up. Goes down, it goes up. Until this August goes up and goes down. Domestic uses. Okay?
Level the distribution.
Correct. Or the level up to there.
Yes.
Yeah.
The same in
It was used.
Water is used for grinding and also clean stuff.
Wow.
Itakuwa documentary nzuri sana. So nataka utanipatia.
Sawa.
Un petit peu cet esprit de la philosophie des conditions de la Banque mondiale. Ça peut être intéressant de voir. Madame Dominguez, si vous voulez bien.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much on behalf of the World Bank to invite us to participate in this important event that really focuses on water security. Water security is at the core of the World Bank efforts in the water supply and sanitation sector. So what I will propose is that we look at the water financing needs for the sector and focus on how is the World Bank Group responding to the new challenge.
As I've heard the comments from my panelists and the changes and policy changes and financing intervention, particularly from the World Bank and the efforts being done in Ghana and also in Morocco, I think it calls on us, particularly those in government who are in charge of policy and also budgetary planning, and even those in legislation, to consider this issue of water security as a very serious issue in our generation. Over 148 countries in the world are experiencing or are facing challenges of water across all their sectors. And as a minister in charge of water, particularly by efforts which have been done in Morocco. Morocco, as I've been advised, has 100% water coverage, as opposed to our country, which we experience sometimes long rains of over 8 months. And I've been informed that Morocco began their reforms around 1990, investing in water harvesting. And this experience informed our policy changes in Kenya. Today, as I speak to you, we have about 15 dams, large dams, under construction to increase or to assure ourselves of water security. We also approached other financial institutions, ADP, to develop water facilities in 29 towns in Kenya. And from these interventions, we are going to increase our water coverage by 4%. However, as we speak here, and I believe most of us here are policy makers, there are still issues that needs us to address. The issue of financing is very critical. The issue of institutions. We began our reforms in 2016 after successful implementation of legislative reforms in 2002, which, as I told you earlier, moved our country from 42 to 60%. But without regulators or regulations to guide the management of the water resource from the source to the tap, we are not going to achieve water security. We need regulations on water resource and water services. We also need to have policies to invest in poor activities or settlements. In Kenya, we came up with a dedicated fund called Water Sector Trust Fund. This fund is mobilizing resources from many donors and directing this resource to the poor, the informal settlements. The other issue that affects our water security is lack of effective taxation or tariffs, where most utilities have charged very high tariff, making it prohibitive or inaccessible by the poor. And for us in Kenya, we have a regulator on water services called WASREP. This utility is able to price the cost of water per cubic meter to a consumer. And from this regulation, we are able to assure the poor and the rich of adequate water resource. We also have issues of land. Our biggest challenge in Kenya is access to land. We have people, in Kenya, we have titled our land, and to access and build dams or water facilities require government to compensate adequately to get access to this land. This again takes a lot of time, and sometimes it ends up in court. The other issue is also discrimination still exists based on class, political affiliations, and also those who are displaced may not also access this resource. And also finally, the issue of disasters, which has affected Kenya and majority of African countries who face sometimes a drought. For this reason, therefore, we need to look beyond immediate physical availability of this resource. So I think as we discuss water security, we need to look at a cocktail of solutions ranging from inter-country, inter-basin management and conflict management. We need to address the issue of financing, which is critical. Water sources, water facilities are very expensive. We also need to look at reforming our regulatory bodies, and we also need to address the political goodwill so that water does not attract or attracts the highest allocation in our national budgets. Those four issues are very critical in my own assessment. Thank you very much.
Voilà, merci beaucoup. Je rappelle que vous êtes monsieur.
Okay, so I am Ithar Khairullah, head of the hydraulic infrastructure department in the Tensift Basin Agency in Morocco. We are today here in Dam Lala Takrkoust, which is one of the oldest dams built in Morocco. It was built in 1935, and it has a storage capacity of 53 million cubic meters. As you can see in the background, the level of the water is really low because we had a couple of dry years, and we're trying right now to manage the storage that we have of around 24 million cubic meter between this dam and the other dam that is upstream. Day by day, week by week, try to optimize the use of water, especially water supply for the big city Marrakesh. Okay, so we have installed some regulations here in Morocco to ensure that there is no misuse of the water, especially in drought periods. We rank the uses according to the importance. So for now we are giving the priority to drinking water, and we supply agricultural water, irrigation water, depending on the type of irrigation. If it's for olive trees, we can give them water because it's important to not lose this crop. But for other agriculture, we don't do that right now because it's a really dry period.
When you were in that room, you were talking about.
I think they were not locals. They installed here because of the dam. There was nothing here before, so we did not ask locals to. But I think he's talking about contractors.
Yes.
Okay, so in Morocco we tried to encourage local companies and local study offices to specialize in dam construction. So when we had foreigners here working, the government imposed that a certain percentage of human resources used to build these infrastructures are Moroccan people. That's for information transfer. Nowadays we are at 100% Moroccan engineering and manufacturing, and the companies who construct the dams are all Moroccan. In Morocco we have different kind of weather depending on the place. In the north region we have rain, sufficient rain. We don't have problems in water supply, but in the middle and the south area it's drier. Sorry, what was the first part of the water coverage? Yeah, for the water coverage, today we're at 98% of water coverage. We try to find new places to build dams. We have our government has an objective of building 3 big dams a year in the next 10 years. But it depends on how big it is, but in general it's in between 60-80 million euros.
And the small dams.
And sorry,
the small dams.
For small dams, it can vary from 10 million euros to 20, 30. It depends on the
transition.
Yeah.
Foreign contractors to your local contractors.
And we have learned that the cost of constructing a dam is very low. The skill transfer from foreign to the locals again is very important and crucial, which we learned from Morocco, in that previously foreign constructors could come and do the construction work of dams, but now 100% of all the construction work of dams in Morocco is constructed by the local community, and that gives the capacity for the locals. They have a lot of capacity in terms of design, development, and management of the dams. The other thing which is very crucial that we learned today in Morocco is that in terms of management of water resources in Morocco, they're excellent, and on top of everything, you can see where we are is an arid land, is a dry land, but the kind of development that we are seeing in this water dam here and its environment and the irrigation schemes and the power that they're generating from the water, you know, it is a multitasking project that serves an integrated program in general. For example, our dam in Kadruma and other dams we have, they have one solid purpose of generating only energy. But here we see it is a multi-purpose dam where it is doing irrigation, doing water for drinking, for domestic, doing industry, and doing for irrigation, energy creation. So, and again, we need to relook at our programs, the way we conduct when we do our water programs. Finally, and what we learned is particularly on the rivers, pollution on the rivers, cleanness of the rivers, how do they manage. They have police, water police, who go round in monitoring and seeing that things are done excellently, and they monitor. They look into all the issues pertaining to pollution of water around the rivers and the dams, and anybody who is found in polluting either the dams or the rivers are taken, and it is a very serious offense in this country. So these are some of the things we are learning from Morocco. Look at where we are. As I have said earlier, this is an asshole area, and they did not get rain for 2 years, and the water they have is enough to serve for another 2 years. Where else in assholes in Kenya, we always under emergencies, we are always under disasters, where we always do water tracking for people. We do relief programs. I think honestly, the resources we have used for relief has been wasted throughout, and we need to relook at the way we are doing business in terms of giving reliefs. I think we need to stop relief and use those resources to do this kind of project. Already we have not gotten a rain for almost, I think, a year in some parts of our country, and we are already in disaster. We have lost a lot of livelihoods, the livestock. We have lost a number of individuals in terms of wildlife-human conflict. In my own constituency, 30 people already have lost because of wildlife-human conflict. So you can see we have a lot that we are wasting, and we are, from the time I was a child to today when I'm an old mother, Kenya has been giving relief to my people. And we cannot continue with that business. We need to rethink. We need to think out of the box. The other thing is, I found out that the people who are in Morocco, particularly the engineers, the contractors, and civil servants in this country, are very honest, committed, focused to develop their country. So I'm sending a message to the civil servants that we need to be committed. We need to be honest to our programs. We need, whenever we are doing a design, we must do a design when we are thinking that I'm doing this design for myself, so that you put yourself into your shoes when you want to address problems that are affected by Kenyans.
Thank you. As we all know, water is a devolved function, and indeed, what we have seen in Morocco is very uplifting. We have seen mainly that the water management is so critical that the people themselves, apart from the police, the water police, the people themselves police the water resources, and they also police the water flows, so that if you're trying to extract water and you have no permit, it is your neighbor who will tell on you. So that is really critical. It's some kind of form of discipline that we also want to. We hope that our people will inherit at one point, so that we do not leave management and policing of water to the authorities only. Having said that, we also, a dam like the one in the rear here, it has cost just about $60 million, and that is about euros, and that's about 6 billion Kenya shillings. Now, with the kind of dams that we've been seeing in Kenya, this dam would have cost maybe 30 billion shillings, which means that with the kind of wastage we have got in Kenya, one dam would perhaps give us like 5 dams, and that is what we would want to see. Again, we would also want to see our county governments, in terms of food production, where we have dams and even where we have rivers, we are not seeing the monies that go to the counties being used properly in terms of food production, in terms of water conservation, and in terms of water provision. In fact, that is a major challenge. And indeed, as Senate, that is one area, that's where we want to go in terms of overseeing what the counties are doing. We are very, very encouraged by what we have seen in Morocco, and we do hope that this will be replicated. We want to see this replicated back home.
We achieved the 100% what needs to be done.
Now the major challenge that I think now that we have the CS here, and the CS has quite noted that I have noticed very keenly, is that what we need in the Republic in Kenya today is technical transfer, and that we have got. With all the dams that we have built, please don't tell me that the people came and built dams and went away with the knowledge. The knowledge is with us. The knowledge is with us in the country. But why we still have got to go to Spain, to Portugal, to China to go and get fellows to come and build our dams, that should not be on the 21st century. We have got engineers. We want to create jobs. We have got young engineers. We are producing them every year. These are the kind of people we need to do our jobs. In Morocco, they have managed to get, they are doing 100% local engineering and local works. 100%. It's not that in Kenya we cannot do it, but we are not doing it, and I dare say we are not doing it because because corruption will not be there. We are getting those fellows who come with the money. They come first of all give us our cuts, then they do the works, and the works then cost 3 times more than what it should actually cost, and it is really criminal.
And the whole mission from Kenya is to benchmark following information that Morocco, despite being a dry and sometimes they lack rain for over 4 years or 2 years. As we are speaking now, they have not seen rain for the last 2 years. However, they have been able to manage and harvest the little water that they receive either from rain or from river flows. One of the dams we are here standing here is one of the oldest dams, and this has given Morocco water security. It is also, we are also here to connect policy and actions in our back home in Kenya. We have noted with a lot of interest how they have been able to use local resources, from technical and also from manpower to material to also financial. A lot of input from government to build resilience, to build storage for their people. We are also here, the challenge we are facing, we are seeing, I'm challenged as a minister myself, and I think we are all challenged, those in charge of policy and leadership of the water sector in Kenya. We are challenged because we are a bigger economy, we invest heavily in the sector, but we are yet to achieve the targets that we had set ourselves years ago. I know we have plans like building dams, and one issue that is coming out very clearly here is cost management is very important. How we design, we carry out visibility, and finally deliver a storage facility like what we have seen is very important, because with little amount of water, of money, investing 6 billion Kenya shillings to 8 billion Kenya shillings can give us such a big dam, would be a great relief for our country. We will be able to build many dams across. As we speak now, we are spending over 100 billion shillings ongoing works in water sector, and yet the growth is not commensurate with the growth of water coverage is not commensurate with the level of investment. That means there is a bit of wastage, which I as a minister will champion reduction and management of those costs, so that we have more dams available, build more dams for our country. We have already set ourselves to build 57 large dams. we have already started cost management. We began borrowing the other day 50 billion shillings to build 29 small towns, and so far what we have contracted out is worth 31 billion. That means we have saved 19. This is another additional available funds to appraise new projects, new dams, so that we can really move towards our target of 80% by 2022. Currently, as a country, we are at 63% in terms of water services coverage, and we are at 25% on sewerage coverage. And we have also learned from here that dams can be used for many purposes. We have seen prioritization of water for domestic use. Marrakesh, they are doing from this dam 31,000, the two dams on this river, 31,000 hectares of irrigable farms, which is a challenge to me also, as the docket of irrigation has come in 1 week ago, and we have been struggling with Galana, we have been struggling with other farms. I think it can be done with a commitment and determination. Kenya can do the same or even better. So I am encouraging our teams to also focus patriotism and commitment towards public service.
1 million. Okay. And the dam is producing, you told us,
Water supply for Marrakesh.
yes, how much is total? 17 million cubic meters. Okay. And you distribute and share it to Marrakesh number.
Hayo unasumbuliwa.
Sijaenda kutoka nilipokuja. Nimekuja hapa kwetu.
She's connected kwa uhuru na Naomi Chomba. Lakini mwache, kuna very beautiful place tumepiga hiyo wapi?
Nimekuja kupiga.
Okay, sawa.
Hey.